You.
No, I didn't know. So after the fight had happened, we in the locker room. I think I had just finished changing up. We on the way to the post press or whatever. My father said, he tried to bite you in there. I said, what? I'm like, it's no like if you in the ring with somebody, so
Wow.
you're gonna notice that.
So my eyes was burning, and like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than. But I ain't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know.
Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis are now in the midst of their highly anticipated rematch after an intense first encounter that saw tensions rise. Ahead of their bout, the two exchanged verbal jabs and had a fiery face-off. They recently met to finalize the details of their rematch and participated in a brief press conference, where they took turns answering questions from the interviewer.
That's when he tried biting me. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something. Somebody said he tried to bite me. I ain't know that. I know. What you talking about? He like, now he gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, that's how boxing works.
Ultimately,
Eventually.
it proved to be a risky encounter as Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach relentlessly exchanged verbal shots. While they never got physical, the trash talk was intense. Roach repeatedly emphasized that he was different from other opponents and warned Davis not to be overly confident about defeating him. On the other hand, Davis insisted that his previous performance was just a bad day at the office and vowed to knock Roach out in their rematch. In response, Roach fired back saying, "It's going to be a firefight. I'll break you down."
What's another comparison you don't want to make to Mike Tyson?
Now that's crazy. That's what he do. He get dirty. You know that.
Since the fight ended, Roach has made several appearances on the Big Time podcast to discuss the bout and reinforce his belief that he should have been declared the winner instead of the fight being ruled a majority draw. His efforts have helped keep the conversation about a potential rematch alive. Roach has also been active on social media, and on March 18th, he posted something that appeared to irritate Tank's fanbase, likely his exact intention.
I didn't know. So after the fight had happened, we in the locker room. I think I had just finished changing up. We on the way to the post press or whatever. My father said, he tried to bite you in there. I said, what? I'm like, it's no like if you in the ring with somebody, so you're gonna notice that.
Roach took to X to stir the conversation, posting, "On some real stuff, why are some of you mad? A lot of people think I won the fight. I'm confused, gang. What's going on? Did I do something to you guys?" The post quickly gained traction, amassing over 21,500 views and 425 comments in less than 2 days. This appears to be a classic case of a fighter baiting an opponent's fan base to generate interest in a rematch. Judging by the engagement and the flood of Davis fans in the comment section, the tactic worked. Speaking on the Come and Talk to Me podcast, Roach revealed that he attempted to call Tank after the fight, referencing a reported bet the two had made before their bout.
Yo, so Lamont, I watched your, your feedback. You broke it down round by round. There was this one part in this video that was kind of going viral the other day where you said it looked like Tank was trying to bite you. I'm like, what was that? Like, did you notice that in the moment? I saw you said that in your, in your feedback. What was that moment?
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you. I called his phone. He must have changed his number or something because I didn't get a response. Maybe he's just doing his thing right now. I called him, then I DM'd him and told him, "I called. You. Call me back." I didn't specifically mention the money, but I just told him to call me back, Roach explained. Gervonta Davis narrowly retained his World Boxing Association (WBA) lightweight title on Saturday night after battling to a majority draw with Lamont Roach Jr. Despite a highly controversial moment in the 9th round that could have handed Davis the first loss of his career, the undefeated 30-year-old southpaw, nicknamed Tank, was able to breathe a sigh of relief when the final scores were announced, following a tightly contested 12-round battle filled with back-and-forth action.
Eric Martin State goes in 118 to 117 and figure out your bunker here. Judges took the right round and he left the mean both going out. 114 to 114 even draw. The decision is a majority draw.
One ringside judge scored the bout 115-113 for Davis, while the other two had it even at 114-114, ensuring that the three-weight champion from Baltimore remained undefeated. The biggest controversy came in the 9th round when Davis voluntarily took a knee near his corner and leaned over the ropes, seemingly seeking assistance to clear an issue with his eye. Under the unified rules of boxing, a fighter touching the canvas with anything other than their feet is considered a knockdown, which should have cost Davis a point, or even led to disqualification if his corner was deemed to have interfered during the round. However, referee Steve Willis allowed Davis to continue after issuing a stern warning, a decision that likely influenced the final outcome. The sold-out crowd of 19,250 at Barclays Center voiced their discontent, especially after Davis later claimed his vision had been impaired by grease from his hair. It should have been a knockdown, Roach insisted.
Like, cause we right there. But when I actually went back and looked at the fight, I was like, this motherfucker really did try to bite me. Like, at least that's what it looked like. You can ask him, or you can, if you play the clip and you look at it, it definitely looked like he just tried to bite me and missed or some shit. Like, bit his lip.
If that was a knockdown, I would have won the fight. He's saying grease got in his eye, but if he takes a knee and the ref starts counting, it should be a knockdown. It is what it is. I'm not banking on that knockdown to win. I just thought I pulled it out, Roach said. Granted special permission to retain his WBA title at 130 lbs while facing Davis at 135, Roach fell just short in his bid to claim a world championship in a second weight class against an opponent who entered the fight as a heavy 20-1 favorite. Meanwhile, Davis defended his performance, reflecting on his approach in the later rounds. I think I pulled it out in the last 3 rounds for sure, Davis said. I was catching him with some clean shots. I felt I was breaking him down as the rounds went on, but he kept coming, so I didn't want to make mistakes. I kept it cautious.
Well, that was crazy. So when he told me that, I was like, nah, he ain't trying to bite me out, tripping. But when I looked at it, I was like, damn, they tried. And even
trying to bite you, yeah. Pause.
On his neck.
like my neck, like ear.
I noticed. I seen him hit you with a shoulder one time.
Try to put his glove up.
From the opening bell, Roach showed no fear of the heavily favored champion. The 29-year-old from Washington, D.C., remained composed in the early stages, using his movement and counterpunching to prevent Davis from settling into a rhythm. Known for being a slow starter, Davis spent the first few rounds probing, but his usual patience verged on inactivity. Roach capitalized, landing sharp right hands and winning most of the early exchanges. The familiarity between the former amateur rivals seemed to favor Roach, who appeared more poised and comfortable, even as Davis began increasing the pressure in the middle rounds. A powerful right hand in the 6th signaled the champion's awakening, but Roach absorbed it well and stood his ground. In the 7th, he stunned Davis with a straight right, forcing the champion to clinch. With supreme confidence, Roach began, dictating the pace, throwing more combinations, and transforming what many expected to be a one-sided fight into a hard-fought battle.
Yeah, like,
Oh, niggas wild.
nah, it was crazy.
Oh, niggas.
It was crazy.
Did you see that Naj too? You seen that?
When I didn't see it in the moment, but when I looked at the replay, I'm like, damn, this is Vampire and Brooklyn right there. It looks a little suspect.
I think the commentator said something about
Yeah,
that.
they said something about it too. They was like, here's another comparison to Mike Tyson.
In the 8th round, Roach landed a massive counter right uppercut that briefly wobbled Davis, proving he could take the champion's best shots and fire back. Then came the 9th, where controversy struck. After absorbing a left hand from Roach that didn't appear to land with full impact, Davis unexpectedly took a knee. Whether due to fatigue, an issue with his mouthpiece, or something else, it was a moment that should have been ruled a knockdown. Instead, referee Steve Willis issued only a warning, allowing Davis time to recover. Fueled by frustration, Davis came out swinging, unleashing powerful shots, but Roach absorbed them and continued pressing forward. By the championship rounds, Davis was lunging and throwing wild punches, which Roach expertly countered. In the 11th, Roach outworked a visibly frustrated Davis, sealing the round with a crisp counter right. With just 3 minutes left, Davis, known for his late-fight heroics, tried once more to lure Roach into making a mistake, but Roach remained disciplined. He stuck to his game plan, making Davis miss while landing just enough to maintain control.
I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar, we won't get too much on paper. But shit, I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me.
Both men called for a rematch immediately after the fight. I want to run it back for sure, said Roach, who landed 112 of 400 punches, 28%, according to CompuBox statistics, compared to Davis's 103 of 279, 36.9%. I'll be back on the grand stage again, where I belong. Davis, however, attributed the close fight to his own subpar performance, rather than anything Roach did. To be honest, I really made it competitive, Davis said. For sure, Lamont is a great fighter. He's got the skills, he's got punching. Power. It was a learning lesson. Shout out to Lamont Roach and his whole team. Hopefully, we can run it back.
I was damn alright. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
A rematch between Davis and Roach appears to be on the horizon following their first heated encounter, with an official announcement expected in the coming weeks. Reports suggest the fight could take place in either May or June. Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission has upheld the majority draw ruling of the Davis-Roach bout, despite the controversy surrounding the 9th round, according to a decision obtained by ESPN on Friday. In its ruling, the commission denied Roach's protest, stating that because the fight continued for more than 3 full rounds after the referee's no-knockdown call, both fighters had to adjust accordingly. As a result, the referee's decision was deemed not to have directly impacted the outcome of the fight.
The part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right.
One of boxing's top stars, took a knee in the 9th round after a series of punches from Roach. Referee Steve Willis initially began counting but stopped at 3 and did not rule it a knockdown. In its ruling, the commission stated that after an extensive review of the footage, the most appropriate call would have been for the referee to determine that Davis's knee touching the canvas constituted a knockdown. However, it also emphasized that the decision was ultimately within the referee's discretion and authority. The ruling further noted that if a knockdown had been called, it would be impossible to determine whether the final 3 rounds would have played out the same way.
You say you don't think he willing, though.
Whatever, see, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood
The
gonna get in
commission
your
ruled that such speculation would be misplaced, stating that setting a precedent for retroactively altering decisions would not guarantee a correct outcome or align with the best interests of boxing. If Willis had called a knockdown, Roach would have won by decision. Instead, the WBA junior lightweight champion had to settle for a draw in his bid to become a 2-weight champion, an outcome that would have been a shocking upset, given that Davis was a heavy 20,000 favorite. According to ESPN Bet, Lamont and his team remain disappointed by the announced outcome and the commission's lack of action, but are grateful for the support of the boxing public. Roach's attorney, Gregory M. Smith, told ESPN. Lamont is confident that a rematch will end with a victory, but until then, he is the people's champion at 135 lbs.
It's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref. Can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Davis, a Baltimore native, explained after the fight that he took a knee because grease from a hair treatment applied on Thursday burned his eyes. Adding to the controversy, his corner was allowed to wipe his eyes with a towel during the round, and action prohibited unless the referee officially stops the fight. While Davis is often praised for his high in-ring IQ and ability to analyze opponents early, he never seemed to find his rhythm against Roach. Meanwhile, Roach gained significant support after the fight, including praise from Davis's rival, Shakur Stevenson, who commended his performance and even offered to be his next opponent. While that matchup is intriguing, a Davis-Roach rematch is the fight fans want most, especially after Roach made everyone question whether Davis is truly unbeatable.
Something funny. We was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th.
we was talking shit, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win.
Roach, a former amateur rival of Davis, deserved to be the leading story after handing Tanka, 1,600 betting favorite, the first blemish of his professional career in their controversial majority draw at Barclays Center. The commission stated Monday that it had requested a video replay review, but a technical issue prevented it from being completed within the allotted time. The 29-year-old Roach from Washington, D.C., remains the WBA title holder at 130 lbs and is currently ranked number 6 at lightweight by ESPN. Meanwhile, the 30-year-old Davis is ESPN's number 1 lightweight and number 8 pound-for-pound boxer. The highly anticipated rematch between Davis and Roach has captured the boxing world's attention, with many eagerly awaiting the official announcement. Among those closely following the situation is Ryan Garcia, who has first-hand experience with Davis, having suffered a 7th-round TKO loss to him in April 2023.
Nothing like that. But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that. That's a disqualification. You turn your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more.
I don't like knockouts, like punishment. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things got to happen to make you get back to where you belong at. You know what I'm saying? And I was a good, skillful ass.
To a split decision win for Lamont Roach. He was robbed. The knee hitting the canvas should be a knockdown. Face getting wiped should be a DQ. They didn't use replay, apparently, and we're going to talk to Keith Eidig about all this, but there is replay in New York. And fight that was kind of viewed as an afterthought would now be a gigantic rematch and one of the biggest upsets past, 10, 15 years, 16-1 is gigantic.